Tanny Games here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here with a top 20 dream snaps that I have voted on this week for the Villainous Lair challenge. So these are my favourite submissions that I've come across whilst voting this week. There were some really great submissions. So yeah, I'm really excited to show these off for you, and the last one is my personal favourite, so stick around for that one because it's a good one. Okay, so why don't we jump over? Well, I say jump over. There's no point jumping over. I don't need to jump over anywhere. Why don't I just show you the first one? That would make more sense. Okay, so for our first image, we have this one. It's quite a wide shot, so I'm guessing this person plays on like a widescreen monitor or something. But I really like this. I liked all the candles dotted around. I thought it was really cool, and I just like the perspective of this. It looks different to any place that I would take a shot in the valley. I assume this is the Forgotten Lands, but I just think this is a really well kind of like positioned shot, if that makes sense. I have realized the bird is chirping in the background, so I'm going to click off. None of you want to hear the bird chirping in the background. I'm apologize for that. But yeah, I just really like it. I think the outfit is cool. I think the looks of it are very cool, very purple vibes. But I do love this kind of ambience from the candles. I thought that was really fun. So now we come to our second image, and I love this image. It is so good. I love the angle that it's taken at. I love all the kind of like colors from the smoke and things like that. Like we've got the Well of Souls here. We have the green glow at the front, which I'm assuming is from Scar's cooking stove. We have some sort of purple glow, which I would assume would be the starlight projectors, but I'm half confused because it doesn't look like there's the sparkles that you get with the starlight projector, so I'm not 100% certain. I love the use of the flame cooking stove fireplaces in the background. I love the coffin. I love the Maleficent throne and the thorny pillars. Like, this is just a well composed shot, and yeah, I really love this image. The bones at the front, like, yeah, this is just such a unique shot, and I really enjoyed voting for this one. Now, our next shot I really enjoyed because I liked the color scheme of it. I felt like it was very different to a lot of the submissions that I had been voting on. So I loved the bright sort of blonde hair with the red streaks. I love that they've used the fire raven. I love the use of these, is it the Ever Gems? I think it's the Evergems, and then the pearls, which kind of just add this kind of like mystical, magical vibe. And then they've got these vine walls in the background. Like, this is just a really creative shot. I just really enjoyed this. I think it's a very unique kind of shot, and it just really stood out to me when I was voting. Now, our next image, oh my goodness. Okay, right, this really caught my eye. It's certainly very striking. The purple starlight projectors work really well here. It complements the kind of like purple fog. It was just a very eye-catching submission. I like how they've decorated with the flowers and foliage towards the front, even like the pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that. There is Mother Gothel in the shot. Now, I don't know if she necessarily adds to the shot, but she certainly doesn't take away. But I think this shot would have been just as good without her. But yeah, I just really like this. It's just very unique. So this was great. Now, our next submission I really like. I like that they've kind of gone down like the Scar route. The green tones are really good because it's really reminiscent of the Be Prepared song from the Lion King film. So I really like that they've added that touch with the cooking stove, the fountains from the Nightmare Before Christmas collection, and the Well of Souls. I think it works really well along with the green lights. And then we've obviously got the Elephant Graveyard House in the background, which again I think is very complementary to it, and I think just works really well. So this was a wonderful submission. I really liked this one. Now this submission, I love the red vibes of this. Like, I love it. The color just really hits you. I love how it's complemented through the trees, through the lighting, through the character, through the outfit. I think it just works really, really well. I like how they've included the tree house along with Jack Skeleton's house. I think that works really well. I think it was a really cute touch to use the Monsters Inc. plushies. I just think they add a bit of funness to the whole vibe of it all. But the character just looks absolutely incredible. She looks wonderful, and I just think her look really draws you into this image. So yeah, I loved this submission. I thought this was definitely an incredible one. Next up, we have this submission, and again, I just loved it for the vibes. I love the use of the like luminescent palms in the background. I think they really add to the photo. I love that it has this kind of like mystical, magical, otherworldly type vibe. That I think is really complemented with the projectors, the starlight projectors creating this glow in the front, which then creates this kind of like foggy look to the world, to the atmosphere, which works really well with how blurred the background is. Like, I think it just follows through the image quite nicely. The character looks really cute. I think this is a really, really fun submission and really creatively made. Now, on to our next submission. I enjoyed this one because it is a Sleeping Beauty reference. So they've dressed up a mannequin to look like Maleficent. They've included the Raven, and their character is meant to be dressed like Aurora. And I just think this is a really fun take on, like, obviously a very iconic movie scene. The way they've created the green glow in the room with the lanterns was really, really good. I think the only thing that they could have done to add to it would have been to use the Scar cooking stoves at the front to create that glow from the bottom. I think would really help elevate it, but this was still a really wonderful submission. I had a lot of fun voting for this. Honestly, I was so happy to see it. I love seeing the Maleficent interpretations for this challenge. I think it just works really, really well, and I like how this room is set up and laid out. I think it's a really well created scene, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. Now, our next submission is again another movie reference. I do love the kind of like movie references. It can be a bit dangerous because not everyone's going to get them, but I think it's safer to do when you're doing Disney film movie references because obviously the player base is largely Disney fans, so they're more likely to get and understand that. So here we have Merlin, and their character is dressed up as Madame Mim. And I think this is so wonderful. They've also included the squirrel, which I think was a nice little touch. Again, kind of like these kind of like witchy Lair vibes, which I think just works really, really well. It's a very, very cute submission. I do really enjoy this. I think it's fabulous and a great reference to an iconic movie scene. Now, our next one is again another Maleficent vibed one. I love this. I love how their character looks. The raven looks incredible. All the fawns and the trees just work really, really well. And what I kind of love about this is the juxtaposition between like the purple lanterns on the left side and then the green ones on the right. I just think it's really nice, and it adds a bit of sort of a dynamic interest to the shot, if that makes any sort of sense. I just think visually it's very striking and probably a bit different from the typical uniform green or purple glow that we would normally see otherwise. Now, this next submission I wanted to include because the character does look really, really cute. I did like the mix of items from the jack-o'-lanterns and things like that, but their character is what really pulled me into this image. I thought it was just really, really fun. I liked how the fawns intertwined with everything. Yeah, this was just like generally quite a fun submission to vote on. It's not overly villainous, so I think it kind of like blends that kind of mix between like a cute, fun character with something a bit more villainous and darker. But yeah, it was just a really fun submission, so I really did want to include it. Now, this next submission I adored. It was so striking. One, their character looks incredible. I love this mix of purple and green hair mixed with the character's green skin tone and then the purple dress. Just really complimentary, and I love when you kind of have this color theme that runs through, and you can see sort of the green lanterns in the background, which I think is really cool. And then you've got this like purple glow from the front with the starlight projectors, and then in the background you've got all the purple giant night fawns. So I think this just works really well as an image. The colors work really nicely, and I like when you have that kind of cohesiveness in a photo, in a dream snap. I love the use of the well of souls dotted around everywhere, sort of mixed in with all the foliage. Having the fountains and the Maleficent throne on both sides is really good, and also the use of this like bumblestone fencing in the background was a nice little touch. And then at the front we've got the massive cauldron with the potions in front of it. Honestly, this is just a fabulous image. It's so well created and so vibrant. Now, our next submission, again, another vibrant image, but I love this. This was so good. So we have these like flames at the front of the image. Not entirely sure what flame item that is. I'm going to assume possibly from the Beauty and the Beast like candelabras or something like that. But I love it. This kind of like flamey image along with the flame hair, the orange dress, the fire raven. This is just such a cohesive image, and this would actually work really well for this companion challenge as well, because your character so accurately lines up with what the companion is. So I love this. I think this would work really well in the companion scene. It would just, I think it would work very well. But it obviously does work as a villainous lair. You know, we've got the thrones, we've got the cauldrons, and it's certainly very villainous vibes. So I really enjoyed this submission. I think it's fabulous. Okay, and then we're on to our next submission. The character in this submission just looks really cool, and I like this skin with the face paint. It's like some sort of eyeball like face paint, but I think it works really well. I love the kind of mix of the blue and purple tones as well. We've got like the starlight projector, these purple trees, but the whole image has a very like blue kind of glow. Like these purple trees look blue, which is mind-boggling to me because like obviously I know they're purple. But I just something about the image, whether it's a filter or something like that, just kind of gives it this blue glow. I love the use of these flowers. I think they're very complementary to the image and the overall vibe. And I love the bird in the background. I think it's such a fun and animated pose as well. Yeah, this is definitely giving kind of like villainous vibes, and I'm here for it. I think this is super fun. Now, this next submission I've included, because again, it's another super fun submission. I love this. It's so creative. It's very much secret lab, mad scientist kind of vibes, which I love. It's just a unique take, and I love fun and outside the box submissions like this. I just think they're really enjoyable to see. So I think this was a really great take on it, and a great use of some of the new items we've got in game, such as the laugh canisters, the filing cabinets and things like that. Like it all just works really well together. The outfit works. I think this is super fun. I hope this does really well, because it is just such like a unique kind of submission, and it is still very much on theme. So I really enjoyed this like mad scientist take. I think that was super fun. Now we have this next submission, which I really enjoyed. It was a very striking image, all these night fawns, the glows from the lights and everything like that. The birds looked really cool. They looked really, really animated. And then we've got this glow from like all the sparkly flowers underneath. The character looks super, super adorable. I think this is just a really, really fun submission. So yeah, I enjoyed this. It came up when voting. I was like, yeah, I love this. I love this. I think it's wonderful and just a great submission. So yeah, I love how the character looks, definitely giving off those villainous vibes. And I love this like kind of like purple glow to the image. I think that's really fun. So this was a wonderful one. Now this next submission I really liked. I really enjoyed it. It's given very old school horror, which I love. I love the whole black and white theme. I love how the character looks. It's definitely given villainous, which I really enjoy. And making use of the night fawns, I think, was a very creative touch, because I think in challenges like this, when you have those things that we generally advise that you remove in photos, it actually works. It complements the scene very, very nicely. Even the like cobweb trees work really, really well. I think this is a great, great submission. Really fun, really unique. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. Now this next submission I did really, really like. I love that it's a play on the Wizard of Oz. So you're the Wicked Witch. We have the Scarecrow. We have Simba as like the Cowardly Lion. We have Belle. Now I do think it's a bit of a shame that Belle's positioning is kind of like hidden. Who's obviously representing the Dorothy character. And then like you've got these birds as well as at the front, which I think is really great. I love this kind of glow that you've got from the front. I get the feeling this is actually a well. Like I feel like that's what it looks like to me. But I could very well be mistaken. Obviously, you've used the golden floor to represent like the yellow brick road. This is just a really fun and creative submission. And what I love is how Simba looks in this. I've never seen Simba look like that. I have no idea how you got him to look like that. I don't know if it's because he's reacting to your character's pose or something. I've never seen him look like this, but it's so good. And that's what kind of really, really drew me to this image was Simba's pose. I think it really added a lot to the scene. So honestly, fantastic job in capturing that moment. Now this next submission is another fun submission. I do really, really like this. I love the kind of like Ursula / Medusa vibes of it all. I do kind of maybe a tiny bit wish Gaston was further in the background and maybe you brought Flotsam and Jetsam towards the front. But I guess it's because you're trying to get more of those Medusa vibes over Ursula, so maybe that's why. But I love the colours in this. I love how striking it is. Your character looks incredible. The decor in this is really, really good. Honestly, this is an incredible submission, really eye-catching, really striking, and yeah, I really enjoyed voting for this one. This was a really fantastic submission to come across. And now we come to the last submission. Now, this is my favorite submission, and it probably won't make sense to some of you, but for those of you that are kind of like Scottish or British or up to date with like current affairs or meme events or whatever, however you want to look at it. I did have to explain this one to my husband. He didn't understand, but I got it. This is actually a parody of something that happened in Glasgow. I think it was in Glasgow. There was a Willy Wonka experience that was hosted, and basically the event was so bad that like police were called, and this was like covered in the news. There was like TikToks about it. And the thing that we have at the front here is the unknown, which was a really funny moment captured on video when the person playing Willy Wonka was like, oh, what's this? It's the unknown or something like this. And this character came out from behind a mirror all in black with this like mask on. And it was just so funny. And like some kids started crying. Which was just hilarious. Yeah, it was just so funny. Then there was this really sad scene where this person playing the Oompa Loompa was like at this candy crafting making stand, but it really looked more like making some dodgy stuff. And there's a photo where one of the performers doesn't look very happy. It's just a really unfortunate time shot. Apparently a lot of the performers who were at this event did actually, you know, they wanted it to be successful. Like, it's not their fault, it's the people who hosted the event, not the people who are working there as the actors. The actors did the best with the situation that they were thrown in. So and apparently they're all like supposedly really nice people and everything like that. So obviously no shade to any of the people who are working at this event, doing their best to try and make it magical whilst all the props and the decor was not as it should have been. But yeah, I just love this. It's a cultural reference. Do I think this is going to do very, very well? Probably not, because you kind of have to get the reference to understand this. But for me, this is a fantastic submission. This was my favorite when voting, just purely because of the creativity, the fun. This is what I like to see in Dreamsnaps when voting. And sometimes I guess I understand that there's this pressure to perform to get 4K moonstones. And so I get why everyone does the typical not typical submissions, but I get why there is sometimes not as many fun and creative submissions as this, because people want to get 4K, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is a competition after all, you know. People are trying to do their best. Even I do that each week, you know, is try my best to kind of get those high scores. So this is no judgment to those people at all, but I do like, I love it when people just go, you know what, I'm going to do something fun. Who cares? Let's just do something funny. And this is a great example of that. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing this submission. I thought this was fantastic. Just iconic, really. And yeah, I had to include it because it was such a wonderful submission. I adored this one. This is, like I said, this is my favorite of the ones that I've voted on. And I know it's not typically villainous and stuff like that, but I just thought it was, yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. So those were my top 20 submissions. A lot of great submissions, a lot of creative ones, some really well composed shots, a lot of diversity in the different types of images. I love that people have made movie references, they've made cultural references. Like, this is just like, yeah, it's just fun. I enjoy to see it each week. I hope you enjoyed these submissions. Let me know what you thought of the submissions down in the comments below. I always love to hear what you guys think. You know, your opinions matter to me. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a little like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.